First item on the agenda. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for coming on this great, beautiful summer day. But we do have some important business to attend to, so I'll get right to it. And the first order of business is to acknowledge the land upon which we gather is the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and we want to pay our respects to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people of this territory, past, present, and future, especially now. This is Indigenous Peoples Month, and June 21st was Indigenous Peoples Day, so I want to especially draw attention to the fact that we owe a lot to the Indigenous people and to everything they've contributed to our country and our community and our province. So with that, I'll move to next item, approval of the agenda. We have a short agenda here. This is a special council meeting. So I will ask if anyone has any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda that they would like to propose at this time. If not, I would like to have approval of the agenda, a motion for approval of the agenda. I'll move, Mr. Mayor. Seconder? Thank you. And all those in favor? Aye. Anyone against? Motion carried. We'll now move to the first item on our agenda, item number 3, which is a resolution, and this resolution is from the Stratford Recreation Department, but it'll be moved by, I guess I'll ask Councillor Jeff McDonald to move that resolution.
I will move it.
How you doing? No, that's okay. How you doing?
I'm just sorry, Mr. Mayor. I'm just taking a moment to have my agenda populate here.
That's okay. We have till 4:30 or thereabouts, so
I have it now.
Should be
okay,
good.
I have it now. And just so I understand, so you had indicated, Mr. Mayor, is from Recreation. This is in relation to PH 030-2025, which is from. Oh, you mean the applicant is Stratford Recreation Department? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, sorry. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't from the department. Okay. All right, yes, this is number PH 030-2025, DP 067-25 from Stratford Recreation Department, Michael Thomas Park, PID 571414, request for permit for 7 temporary accessory use structures for the 2025 Canada Day event. It is moved by myself as Chair, Planning and Heritage. Resolution reads as follows. Whereas an application has been received from Melanie Weatherby on behalf of the town Stratford's Recreation, Culture and Defence Department to operate various temporary uses, 1 food truck and 6 food and accessory structures at Michael Thomas Park, PID 571414, as part of the town's annual Canada Day event. Whereas in accordance with Section 8.20 of the Zoning and Development Bylaw, where Council deems that there would be no health or safety risks to users and there would be no significant nuisance created for adjoining properties, Council may issue a temporary development permit enabling the temporary erection of a building or structure or the temporary use of land to accommodate a celebration or event. Whereas the duration of a temporary event use permit shall not exceed 30 days. Whereas Council may attach conditions to a temporary use permit which are appropriate to ensure the health and safety of residents, visitors, and neighboring residents, or to minimize any potential nuisances. Be it resolved that approval be granted to a development permit application DP 067-25 from Melanie Weatherby on behalf of the town of Stratford's Recreation, Culture and Events Department to operate various temporary uses, being 1 food truck and 6 food, drink, accessory structures at Michael Thomas Park as part of the town's annual Canada Day event, subject to the following conditions. 1, that the temporary uses shall operate and be located per the application site plan, and the hours of operation shall be between 11:30 a.m. and 6 p.m. on July 1st, 2025. 2, that the applicant shall provide the town with valid copies of the food service licenses or permits and any other relevant licenses or permits issued by the province that relate to these various temporary uses. 3, that these temporary uses shall be discontinued and removed as soon as reasonably possible and not exceeding 30 days following the issuance of the permit. And 4, that the applicant shall ensure the cleanup of all debris around the location and the site is reinstated to its previous condition prior to the event. Due to the short notice of this application, the special event date, this resolution did not have time to be reviewed by Planning, Development and Heritage Committee. And Your Honor, Mr. Mayor, that is the resolution.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that resolution? Thank you. I don't know who got there first. I think it might have been, first one I saw was Lord Cox. Okay. Okay. Discussion. The only question I have is I noticed that the Yeah, it doesn't say 6 o'clock PM. It should be 6 o'clock PM, I assume, in terms of one of the conditions. Is there a reason that it's ending its operation at 6 o'clock PM? I understood that there was to be, usually people go down there to watch fireworks and that sort of thing. Is there a reason for
That-
the
Well,
ending early like that?
I can speak to that. I'm not quite certain, Mr. Mayor, we are sanctioning the viewing of fireworks as a town event. And I think the town event is really limited to our Canada Day celebrations, which are
Yeah.
part of the recreation agenda. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It's food for thought in the future. I think Mr. CAO is,
My understanding was they asked to have it till 6 PM just to have a wrap-up. I think our event goes till 4:30, and they just wanted a little extra time in case people did
Yep.
stay around, but they didn't want it into the evening.
Okay, so I understood there would be musicians playing after, but that's going to be over at 4:30, all the
Correct.
music and all that
It's the
sort of thing.
same event we always have, except it's at the waterfront this year.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments or questions on,
I guess a curiosity, Your Worship, where-
do you have a microphone?
oh, sorry.
Thanks, Wendy.
You can sit right here, Ron.
That's right. Where we have a town department acting as an intermediary here rather than applicants coming directly to council, as typically would happen. With standard conditions, would it not be more feasible to have the CAO, through the director of a particular department, give approval for these things going forward, given that we may have several at different parks throughout the year, other than those instances where an applicant with a food truck, for example, is coming to council saying, I want to set up in this particular location for any given event outside of town staff's purview, and perhaps our bylaw doesn't allow for it, I don't know.
Good point.
Great point. I do, and I stand to be corrected on this, Councillor, but this will be alleviated in the future with our mobile vendor bylaw, I believe, but I could be, I'll just let Mr. Ruff just confirm that, but I could be wrong though, but just want to make sure.
Okay, yes, so the mobile food vendors bylaw that was passed last month is still waiting the minister to sign off. Going forwards, once it's signed off, there would be no applications required for town-initiated events for food trucks and other vendors. There's a clause specifically that exempts the town requiring licenses. So this would be the last year you'd actually see a request coming from the town for something like this.
Okay, thank you. I should have read that draft more carefully.
No.
Okay, any other comments or questions on the resolution? Okay, if there are no more comments or questions, I will call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried. Okay, we have another resolution, and that resolution is to do with the Atlantic Pickleball approval, and it's another planning resolution, so I'll ask Councillor Jeff McDonald to move that motion.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. This is number PH 031-2025, DP 051-25 from Fitzgerald and Snow Limited pickleball facility with 2 lease spaces at 75 John Joe Sark Drive, which is a Part 3 building. Comes from Planning and Heritage, is moved by myself as chair of that committee. Whereas an application has been received from Fitzgerald and Snow Limited on behalf of Atlantic Pickleball Club Incorporated to construct a pickleball facility complete with 2 lease spaces, approximately 29,282 square feet in total floor area, on lot 25-1, parcel number 1137884, located at 75 John Joe Sark Drive within the Stratford Community Campus, which is zoned public service institutional. Whereas the existing lot 25-1 has adequate frontage on a public street and the development is proposed to be serviced with municipal water and sewer. And whereas the site plan submitted shows surface parking for 72 vehicles, 4 of which are barrier-free, 2 of which will contain electric vehicle charging stations. Whereas the community campus stormwater management plan encompassed entire campus lands, individual lot stormwater management plans are not required. Be it resolved that preliminary approval be granted to TB 051-25, subject to the following conditions. 1, conformance with the Atlantic Pickleball Club plans as prepared by 9 Yard Studio, file number 23034, issued for a permit May 2nd, 2025. 2, that a development agreement shall be entered into and registered to the property. 3, a detailed servicing plan must be submitted for approval to the Stratford Utility Corporation. 4, a detailed erosion and sedimentation plan must be prepared showing how erosion and sedimentation will be controlled and contained during construction. 5, a detailed landscaping plan must be submitted by a qualified expert outlining the details and quantities of the materials to be used. 6, all other relevant permit requirements and provisions of the Town of Stratford zoning and development bylaw number 45 are met. This resolution does not bear the recommendation of the Planning and Heritage Committee, as it was not discussed at a Planning and Heritage Committee meeting. And that is the motion.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Oh, thank you. Okay, discussion.
It just, and this is a question for planning staff who are here, and we didn't, as the resolution notes, we didn't have an opportunity to discuss this at planning committee. But it was my understanding, and I just want to confirm, that this resolution contemplates a permit only of the foundation? No? Okay, that's what the correspondence noted, so I just wanted to see what.
So the resolution is to approve the Part 3 building. The foundation, we had discussed issuing a foundation permit prior to the full building, but we do need the full building to be approved per Part 3. A development officer can't approve that type of building. So it has to go to
Okay, I
council.
might have misunderstood the contents of the correspondence, sorry about that. Okay, all right. Okay, so, just so I understand, we haven't seen the actual development application. What was I going to say? So, has anything changed substantially in the form of the design, the features, what the building's gonna look like, the floor plan, anything of that nature?
So nothing has changed since the, kind of under the attachment for the building plans in your package. There's been no changes from that, other than there would be 3 less parking spaces. We had met with the engineer for the site yesterday, and to meet accessibility requirements for the parking lot, to not have extreme slopes, kind of where your parking layout is. The entrance needed to be slightly redesigned. It is a minor change, so it's not a substantive change. It would simply be an amendment to the resolution calling for 69 parking spaces over 72. Wendy, if you go to the, I think it's a few pages in, there's a site plan. It's page 9.
Page 9?
Yep.
Okay.
And so right at, I'll just point to it. So these 3 parking spaces, those 3 spaces will just need to be removed to allow for kind of a slope change, just so that when you're opening the doors, they don't swing back and hit you because of the slope. So it was just a small change from the engineer yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And has there been any preliminary work on the development agreement?
The development, we have some items from utility and some items from planning that will need to be incorporated into those. Mainly, there needs to be an easement on the adjacent properties, just for drainage and to allow, yeah, so it would just be for drainage. So typically, whenever you subdivide property, there's a drainage swale on each side of the property. It straddles the property line. And so we would just need an easement to be registered on the property to allow the swale to be implemented, and then the grading will simply meet the existing grades on each side.
And that'll just basically line up with the overall stormwater management plan from basically the entire community campus?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, Ms. Kennedy, all I'll ask then is just that you or your colleagues undertake to provide to council and planning staff when it's prepared the full development agreement, just because
Absolutely.
we're kind of doing this a little backwards.
Yes.
So I think just for everyone's understanding, especially at planning and then for council, just so we have a good idea of where this is all going and if there's any issues cropping up.
Yes,
I
I should
appreciate that.
clarify as well that the reason why this application wasn't discussed at planning board was because the meeting date for planning board fell prior to the lot sale going through.
Yeah.
So just to coordinate construction timelines.
That's understood. Yeah, we just want to make sure we're not missing anything. I'm not suggesting you are, but we just want to make sure we're informed.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me. Yeah.
Quick question. I can talk loud.
You can't. It doesn't pick it up online. I think she uses
Okay. There's a couple down here. Gordy, you want to?
Jeez, okay. All right, hi. Okay, so all what we just talked about here, does the planning department see any problems, or do you think there's going to be any problems from this? Like, it just seems pretty standard that we should be able to get this. There's no red flags here for you, really, big ones.
No, it's a permitted use in the zone. There's 2 lease spaces going in. Those uses will be determined
Okay.
with a commercial fit-up permit. It's a pretty standard.
Yeah, and you've talked with the builders about this, about the pickleball organization, about this, obviously.
Yes.
They're not too worried about it, it's all,
Yeah,
so-
we're doing our best to meet their
Okay.
timelines, and I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest concern right now, so.
Are they aware also that we're waiting, we will be waiting then to get the final, to get everything's tickety-boo, and we can,
Yes.
they know that?
Yes, they're already aware of any outstanding information prior to getting their permit.
Okay.
So after tonight, if this resolution goes through, it will just be the development agreement. We received the landscape plan and the erosion sedimentation control 20 minutes ago, and the building code review, it's just with our consultant right now, so once we
Okay.
get that back, then we should be able
All
to
right, so
see
pretty
shovels in the
standard.
ground. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Ms. Kennedy?
I'd like to say something, Your Worship. I'd like to congratulate the owners of Choose in Stratford for coming over here, and the owners, Scott Harris and Adam McQuaid, and you have Blair McLaughlin on there, Ray Murphy, and Mike James. I forget the other partner. Jonah McMillan? Jonah, yeah. Again, congratulations coming on the campus, and this is why we purchased the campus for these opportunities to come on the campus, facilitate with our 6 soccer fields, our cricket field, our 2 baseball and softball, and sort of with the high schools, the junior and senior, and hopefully down the road we'll have a wellness center. So I want to congratulate the owners for picking Stratford as their home base here. So it was great work, and especially I want to thank the planning committee and everybody else around on getting this across the finish line. It's really a lot of work behind the scenes, so great work, everybody. Thank you.
That's well said, Deputy Mayor. I think I also agree that this is a reflection of really positive approach to getting things done. As I've always said, let's see how we can get the yes, and
Yeah.
this is a good example of that, that you were able to expeditiously, really, as Deputy Mayor said, bring this across the finish line, and I think everyone around the table is happy with that, and I hope these are really great facilities for the residents of Stratford to be able to have access to. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, any other comments or questions? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone against? Motion carried. Okay, we don't have any other items on our agenda today. If there is any other business that anyone would like to bring to the table at this time, the floor is open. If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. So we're now adjourned. Thank you.